I would like to start off with a piece which is being played using bagpipes. Bagpipes are a common instrument which is found in Scotland, and there is a way of dressing to play bagpipe. So this is a tune which is being played on a bagpipe, but I'm playing it on a recorder. So there itself we see lateral perspective. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much. As my title says, you cannot learn music. Well, music is a powerful communication tool. How many of you believe that? Yes, it is a powerful communication tool. It causes us to laugh, to cry, to think, and question. And I believe that music is created by God because it can connect people. It is like an universal language where you can connect different people from different walks of life for various causes. And you might be wondering now, what is my theme all about? My theme says, we cannot learn music. But wait, what does it actually mean? We cannot learn music because music is an art. Now, what is art? Art is something that is created completely from mind with or without inspiration. So you cannot create art, right? You cannot create art because it is creative and it is innovative. So actually, what we are doing is, it is our class of ideas that we are translating into music. And it should be born out from you. It cannot be superimposed to you. So we all know that there are many people who are actually learning music. Right? Even including me, I learn music. But then what are we actually learning then? So these are the things. First, we are acquiring knowledge and skill to put our musical ideas into the instrument. Getting the understanding of how to hold the instrument, its posture, its embouchure, and so on. And various scales, chords, and styles that can play using your instrument. Techniques which can help us to enhance our playing, and reading and writing music which can help us to organize our ideas so that we won't forget it, also we can share it with someone else. So this is actually what we are learning in music. So as music as an art, and these are the techniques or skills we are developing so that we can put our ideas and translate that into music. Now, coming into the most common scenario, we all know that there are hundreds of people who are learning music, including me. And the most common or the usual way, I call it the usual way, that is going to a music school, right? It's always going to a music school. But then, let me tell you two scenarios, what I have commonly noticed at the present time. Parents actually send their children on basis of two things. First, either the neighbor's child is learning an instrument or has learned an instrument, so that my child also has to learn. That is first one. And the second, they desire that the children should be musicians. There are so many parents who have told that I wish my child was a musician. So this force is what actually propels most of their children into learning music. And a typical scenario which I can explain to you is that a person who goes to music school, he joins, he enrolls, he finds a tutor, he gets the instrument, he starts learning, and the tutor trains them on weekly or alternate days basis, and then the child learns as days progress, they learn book by book, and they keep learning. But then one of the common thing which I have noticed is that most of the children will only know to play what is there in the books or what is the literature which is given to them. And the reason what I was actually trying to find out, why is that so? So why is this happening? Reason one is that there is no passion for learning that instrument. And two, they're not trying to develop the musical abilities using the skills that is learned from their tutor. So because of these two reasons, most of them are stuck up in a place where they only know to play what is there in their books. So I can put it as one point. Learning music without passion and motivation will never work. Are you agreed to that? Yes. So it is neither the mistake of the school nor the mistake of the tutor. It is our mistake. So how can we overcome this? In order to overcome this, we should know that passion and motivation, we should put that together, plus hard work. So whatever we are learning from the tutors, we put all these things together, then we can excel in whatever we are learning. We can excel in the instrument. So without that, it's always stuck up to that point which I have just explained before. Now, most of us has an assumption. All right? Our assumption goes like this. You cannot learn music without a music school or a tutor. Right? But let me say that this is an assumption. But the reality is that you can learn music without a tutor or a music school. But wait, I'm not saying that going to music school is a bad thing. I agree and I encourage everyone to go. But for some people who can't afford, for some people who don't have the circumstance to go to a music school, for such person, there is still hope. You can still learn that instrument, or you can still learn music. So what is that way? And I call that way as self-learning. Self-learning. Now, self-learning, as it says, the title says what it is. Learning musical instruments by yourself. And you are your own teacher. You are your own tutor. And what are the advantages of that? First and foremost, you gain the freedom to learn without any restrictions. So you have a lot of freedom. You can take your own song, you can take your own way of playing styles, you can progress in that way. And then you perform well because you're used to tackling problems on your own, which equals to your confidence. It trains your memory to develop and retain music, and there is no age barrier. Anyone can start learning a musical instrument, then anywhere at any point of time. Also, it's a wave of future now that the technology makes it so easy for us to learn music because everything is available in our fingertips. Do you know that your iPhones and Androids can be used as a source to learn music? It's possible. So, for a person who really has an interest to learn, but still is not able to do it, or doesn't know how to progress in it, so I have just collated the 8 points where it says what are the minimum things or the minimum steps to take to learn music. And step number 1, as I said, we need passion and motivation. Because without that, it should never be compulsion that's driving us. Most of the time, which we see in our institutes and music schools, that it's the compulsion, it's the force. Learn, learn, learn. But it should never be compulsion that's driving us. It should be our passion and motivation. Step number 2, find out which is the instrument that fascinates and inspires you the most. So this is your duty. It is our duty to find out which is our instrument of our likeness. It is not the duty of your parents or your tutor. So you have to find your own instrument. Third, once you find out, for say example, acoustic guitar, all right? You need to get to know the basics of the instrument. You need to know the construction, the features of the instrument, what are the parts. If you see an acoustic guitar, you should know that this is tuning peg, this is fret, this is sound hole. Without that, we should get the basic information of it. And the biggest source for information, Wikipedia has plenty of information about musical instruments. Now, step number 4. Find out from a reliable source. I would prefer saying an experienced person who plays that instrument which you like, who can help you buy your instrument. You don't have to get the most expensive instrument out there. You can get the most basic one. And also, I would like to add a note to all parents, because parents actually encourage their children to learn musical instruments, and they buy musical instruments for them. And I would also like to say that you should always give full-time access for your children to learn the music instruments. You should not keep it on top of your cupboard or on locked and kept. It should be always open, so that, because music is ideas. Ideas come in at random times. Even it has happened for me. So the instrument should be always available for us. Step number 5. Get hold of a good tutorial website or a book which has adequate information about to learn the basics. So when I say learn the basics, I would suggest you should have these things: music theory, time signatures, illustrations on how to handle and tune the instrument, scales and chord charts, and fingering exercises. So these are the basics which should be there in any tutorial or a website. Step number 5. We say that practice makes man perfect, but let me tell you, practice makes perfect is a big lie when it comes to learning music. The thing is that when we are learning music without the proper practicing techniques, the problem is that we learn a lot of mistakes. And actually, what are we learning? We are actually trying to train our muscles to do what we want to do on an instrument. So for example, if I want to play a G chord, I have to train my muscle in such a way that it will play the G chord for me. So it is very hard to unlearn it. So always remember that smart practice techniques should be implemented whenever we are learning, so that we can improvise and learn well. And step number 7, start with a small, simple song which you like. Get chord charts from YouTube. There is a lot of videos which will help you to get a lot of information on that. And it's also ideal to use a metronome to practice with timings. And step number 8, advance into the next level by learning more techniques which are more hard to learn and songs which are hard to learn. And mastering over these will improve your skill and make you an expertise. Put in your creativity and innovation and create your own music styles. Develop your own techniques. Develop your own style of playing. And one such way of playing which I have learned using the guitar. This is the guitar, and it's an acoustic guitar. The normal way of playing the acoustic guitar is that we use our left hand for strumming, left hand for the chords, and right hand for strumming. But there is another way, or as you said, the innovative way, where you can use your fingers and hands to play something else. You don't need a pick. You can hit and play. That's another style. So I would like to perform one song which is by Andy McKee, which is having the style called finger picking style, where you actually use your fingers to pick the strings rather than strum it. and I would like to say my journey in music, because everyone will be thinking like, what did I do with musical instruments? You heard a lot about learning yourself. Well, I started music at the age of 2. Well, this is a picture of me playing drums at the age of 2. I started at the age of 2, and then my parents had this music in them, and they also helped me to train up. And it came to a level of self-study, self-learning, because I couldn't afford going to a music school. And it led to a place, an event, where I actually played 27 instruments, one after the other, for 1 hour's time. And that was considered as a world record. And I currently broke 16 world records, and this is an image of that event, which happened last Feb 2nd. And this is at the age of 21. So in a span of 20 years, I learned 27 instruments. So, as I said, I'm sure that it is not just that our hard work alone will work. Because we should have a dream, we should have a vision. And I should say that this formula is what has helped me to reach where I am now. Passion plus motivation plus hard work plus God's grace. Nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. Thank you.